Today on the season premiere of Dr. Phil.
911. Tell me what happened.
A story so hard to imagine.
A mother of two accused of attacking a mom-to-be, cutting out her fetus.
It sounds like a nightmare.
Lane is charged with attempted murder.
7 months pregnant.
Her baby was taken.
Ripped from her womb.
She throws me onto the bed and starts trying to suffocate me with pillow.
He was stabbed in the neck, bleeding out in the basement of a house.
Her fight for life.
When I looked down, I had this huge cut across my stomach.
Did you know you had internal organs coming out of your body?
For the first time,
I said, I don't understand why you're doing this. I love you.
she speaks out.
She stabbed me and said, if you love me, you'll let me do this.
And what did you think this was?
The exclusive interview.
Were you awake when she removed the baby?
Now, the season premiere of Dr. Phil.
As we launch our 14th season today, we continue to bring you exclusive news stories and take you behind the headlines. Today, a crime so shocking, it is hard to comprehend. A baby ripped from the womb, the mother's dreams shattered in an instant. It's a story of immeasurable love, unthinkable loss, and incredible survival. Young, innocent, first-time mom-to-be, Michelle Wilkins was enjoying everything about impending motherhood. Her pregnancy was magical, and the moment her baby girl kicked for the first time, she felt a bond she thought would never be broken. She had no idea that she was about to be the victim of a crime too horrible to imagine. With her daughter due any minute, Michelle says she answered a seemingly innocent post on Craigslist advertising maternity clothes. Michelle did not leave with any clothing. Instead, her baby was taken from her.
This is a disturbing story, to say the least.
Michelle Wilkins nearly lost her life when her baby was cut from her womb.
I got really stomach. You in your stomach? I'm pregnant. How far along are you? 7 months. 7 months?
Bombshell tonight. A 34-year-old mother of two accused of luring a 7 months pregnant 26-year-old mom-to-be to her home with a baby clothing ad, then attacking her, slashing mommy's tummy, cutting out her fetus.
Police responded to reports of a stabbing.
When they arrived on scene, they heard a female screaming.
The 26-year-old mother-to-be.
She came to this house to pick up some baby clothes.
Instead, the young mother was brutally attacked.
Police later arrested Dinell Lane for attempted first-degree murder, among other charges.
Prosecutors say Lane asked Wilkins into the basement and attacked her.
The arrest affidavit that we got says that the suspect must have done some kind of research on how to do a cesarean section because it was done with absolute precision.
First responders quickly rushed the woman to Longmont United Hospital. When the victim arrived to the hospital, so did her unborn child.
At the same time, another female showed up at the hospital, age 34, with the deceased baby.
Police say the 34-year-old suspect claimed the baby as her own.
Lane is now charged with attempted first-degree murder, 4 counts of assault, and unlawful termination of a pregnancy.
Dinell Lane could spend upwards of 100 years in prison.
Michelle had no idea until she woke up in the hospital that her baby had been ripped from her womb and had not survived. She is speaking out for the first time today in an exclusive interview about the terrifying attack. If you are a mother, this is going to be especially difficult, but I promise you, you will be amazed at the incredible strength and resilience Michelle has shown in the face of tragedy. Michelle, Dr. Phil, how are you?
Nice to meet you.
Well, good to meet you. I'm very sorry for the circumstance. I'm going to just preface this entire interview by saying I'm just going to ask you questions to the best of your recollection.
Yeah.
Main thing I want is for you to be completely comfortable, okay?
Right.
I want to kind of go back in time some. You were in a relationship with your partner, and the two of you woke up one day and you were pregnant, right?
Mm-hmm.
Were y'all trying to get pregnant?
It was definitely a surprise, a happy one. There is some anxiety or fear that comes along with any major change that happens in your life, but I'm grateful for Dan. We were friends for a long time before we were together as a couple, and he said, whatever you need, I'm here for you.
So how soon did you know that it was a girl?
Pretty much as soon as I could get the ultrasound to find out the gender, I did.
You wanted to know right away?
Yeah. I said, there's a lot of surprises. I don't think I could take another one.
Yeah. So when you found out that you were pregnant, were you excited?
Yes. It's kind of true what they say. You're a mother as soon as you become pregnant. I just felt like my body knew how to carry this child, and I just felt like I had all of this natural wisdom. The whole pregnancy, I knew I was going to be an excellent mother.
When was the first time that you felt that bond, that connection, that protectiveness with that baby?
The first time I felt connected with her as a being was the first time that I felt her move in my stomach.
Then you knew?
Yeah, then it just became so real, and it also made sense to me that the first time I would feel her move was when her dad was around, and that was really powerful.
When did you name the baby?
We decided on Aurora pretty early on because of the Aurora lights. We liked really natural, nature-based names.
Did that make it more real when you had the name?
It made it very exciting.
Did you decorate a nursery?
I had a baby shower, and people basically gave us everything we needed. You know, our community just came together and totally showered us with love and all her first clothes.
Did you do a maternity photo shoot?
I did. My good friend, she took those pictures. She told me to be very natural and go within myself, and I even got very emotional at times just imagining myself holding her.
Is it hard to look at those pictures now?
It feels like a very good time for me. And I don't view it negatively, and I don't view it sadly. That was a really happy time. Full of love and imagination for what our family was going to be.
Well, let's fast forward a little bit. What were you searching for when you came across Donnell Lane's Craigslist ad?
She had put an ad out for maternity clothes that she was giving away. So it almost felt like a gift from the universe in a way. I needed some. I was getting a lot bigger.
So what did the ad say?
They weren't the right size for her, and she was simply giving them away.
How did you respond to the ad?
I actually texted her the evening before everything happened. Like, she hadn't responded right away, and I had this sensation that I had everything that I needed, and I didn't really need those clothes. Even though I wanted them, I didn't need them, and so I ended up deleting the text message.
But then she did respond?
She did the next day, and I was already running out some errands, so I thought, well, I guess I'll drop by.
Was this an apartment or a house?
I think it was kind of like a townhouse. It seems like a middle-of-the-road house.
Just kind of middle America?
Yeah.
And you never actually talked to her on the phone?
Mm-mm.
Never heard her voice? Never talked to her? I want you to go back to that moment, and as difficult as it may be, take us through these events.
When I went inside and we talked for a while, and she had this little pet rabbit that she let me pick up and hold, and we talked about pregnancy, we talked about things we were excited for, or our family. She told me about her daughters. And there were a few times when I motioned to leave or mentioned that I had other things to do, and she sort of talked over me.
Did she appear pregnant?
She appeared as if her belly was very big and round, but I thought it was suspicious to be 9 months, but I haven't really had that many close friends that have had children.
You're saying you thought she didn't look as big as you might thought someone at 9 months would look?
Exactly.
So you make small talk. Did she present you with maternity clothes?
The very first moment that I walked in, she laid out the clothes and said, "What's your size? I think these will fit you." Sets them in a bag and hands them to me. She just started conversation, and I started walking towards the door, was at the door, ready to walk outside, and she says, "Oh, I have some girl clothes downstairs that somebody gave me before I found out I was having a boy. Do you want them?" And intuitively, I had that sensation wash over me. I have everything I need. But for fear of being impolite, I decided to stay. She actually physically reached across me and closed the door in front of me. And I think about that moment a lot, in the sense that this is a cautionary tale. What I would share with people is to listen to that inner voice of wisdom. When something arises, not to allow that fear of being impolite or hurting someone's feelings interfere with that intuitive voice. I followed her into her downstairs, and she looked like she was searching. And I told her, "You have a very lovely home. Thank you so much, but I actually really have to be going now." At that moment, turned around, I got to the stairs. And as I walked out, she followed me out.
And what happened next?
Coming up.
She just throws me back onto the bed. She stabbed me and said, "If you love me, you'll let me do this."
Tomorrow on an all-new Dr. Phil. She went from world-class athlete to Vegas call girl.
It's so natural to go from being a top runner to being the top escort.
No secrets left hidden.
If you hadn't gotten caught, would you still be doing this?
I didn't want to stop. I loved it too much.
No questions off limits.
Why in hell would you agree for your wife to become an escort?
That's tomorrow. We now return to the Dr. Phil season premiere. A baby ripped from the womb. One mother's nightmare.
You're alone in the house. It's just the two of you, and she's looking for things. You're standing there.
That's when I told her, "Thank you so much, but I actually really have to be going now." Then she followed me. I got to the stairs.
And what happened next?
When she attacked me, she hit my back. It was very aggressive and hard. And I asked her, I said, "Was there a spider on me?" And she said, "Yeah, I think I got it." And then she continued. I turned around, pulled my hands up, and I said, "What are you doing?" And said, "I just want to leave. I don't want to hurt you." I started walking towards the door, and she grabbed me very roughly, pushing me deeper into the house towards the bathroom. We jostled a little bit in the hallway as I tried to push my way back towards the door. She's pushing me deeper into the house. Finally, we get all the way in front of the bathroom, and she just lurches me sideways into the back bedroom. There are so many what-ifs that go through your head. We struggle. She keeps telling me that she's gonna call the police on me. I pull out my phone and I said, "Well, I'll call the police." And that's when the real struggle begins. And she throws me to the bed, trying to suffocate me with a pillow, with her hands. Just had this nightmarish quality. She broke something over my head, and I just felt the liquid wash over me. She just kept saying, "Why? Why are you doing this? Why?" I just remember very clearly this one moment where I was holding up my hand as she held the broken bottle in her hand. And I said, "I don't understand why you're doing this. I love you." And a lot of people, in hearing that statement that I made, view it in a way as if it were a survival strategy, just telling her that in a superficial way to stop the attack. But it's also part of my core belief as a human being that That is what really motivates us, and that's what really connects us to all other beings. And in that moment, I believe that I love her. So I told her that, and in turn, she stabbed me and said, if you love me, you'll let me do this. I didn't know at that point that her intention was to take Aurora. I really didn't have a concept of what was going on other than wanting to survive it. It kept flashing through my mind as she was trying to suffocate me to try to survive for Aurora.
You say she hit you with a bottle. What kind of bottle?
They told me that it was a lava lamp.
She hit you where with it?
Over the head.
Did it shatter?
Yeah, that's what she used to stab me, was the broken end of it.
And where did she stab you?
In my neck, right here.
Well, I see the scar here on your neck and then down here on your collarbone. When she put the pillow on your face, did you have trouble breathing?
It was definitely slowing my ability to breathe. I fought that off enough to where I think I pushed it away at one point, and then she just went at me with her hands.
Coming up.
When you saw this horrible gash in your stomach, were you aware the baby had been taken?
We now return to a Dr. Phil exclusive. A baby ripped from the womb. One mother's nightmare.
911. Tell me what happened.
She cut me.
Okay, who cut you?
There's a girl I was wanted to return to look at.
What did she cut you with?
I'm pregnant. She just went at me with her hands.
Where did she put her hands?
To suffocate me, to choke me.
Was there a time that you lost consciousness?
I did, and I can remember my thought right before losing consciousness. I was thinking about Aurora and wanting to survive from her. I felt like I have so many angels on my side. How is this it?
When you regained consciousness, were you alone?
I was. I immediately recollected everything that had just happened, and I scoped out the room, where the door was, where the window was. I immediately started thinking about all the possibilities of escape. And when I looked down, I had this huge cut across my stomach, and I had lost so much blood at that point, I wasn't even aware that Aurora had been removed.
Were you awake when she removed the baby?
I was not.
When you saw this horrible gash in your stomach, were you aware the baby had been taken?
I think I had lost so much blood at that point, and I was so dazed that I didn't even realize that she was gone. I made that 911 call still thinking that I was a pregnant woman. And so with one hand at my stomach, I stumbled towards the door in an attempt to lock it, and then turned around, and by some miracle, both of the phones were there next to the bed, and stumbled to it and threw myself on the bed and made that phone call. There was definitely a moment there where, after I had fallen forward and was holding my stomach, feeling the blood leave my body, I knew I made the conscious decision to live. And I knew I could lay there and lose consciousness within minutes, or that I could will myself up and survive. And I did the latter.
I've heard a lot of 911 calls, but I don't know that I've heard the courage that you showed on that 911 call before. With your permission, I'd like to play some of that. Let's take a listen to this.
911. Tell me what happened.
She cut me.
Okay, who cut you?
There's a girl I was wanted to return to look at.
What did she cut you with?
I'm pregnant. I'm afraid.
She cut you in your stomach?
I'm pregnant. I'm bleeding out.
I know you need to stay on the phone with me, okay? I'm getting everybody to you, okay? How far along are you?
7 months.
7 months? Okay. Can you tell me, did she have any other weapons besides a knife?
She broke a glass.
She broke a glass? Did she stab you with the broken glass also?
Yeah.
Do you have a towel on that?
How long?
I need you to take a towel and put it on your wound. How many wounds do you have?
I don't know.
More than one?
Oh, yeah. Please help me.
They're trying to find you now.
My head is buzzing. My head is buzzing.
Okay.
Are they ringing the doorbell? She cannot get to it.
Help. Help.
Are they in the house yet?
Yeah, they're here. They're here.
Okay, I'll let you go.
That's amazing. When they arrived there, you were alone in the house. How glad were you to see them?
Well, they saved my life. Every person involved, from Beth Kemper, the 911 dispatch, to Billy Sawyer, Phil Petrowski, all of the police officers that were on the scene. Very grateful for all of them.
Some of them said the scene was so horrific that they actually had to take a moment to gather themselves. Did you hear any voices upstairs before you called?
I did not.
You didn't know they'd left the house?
I didn't know. It actually got to the phone by, even in my condition, I saw the cut in my stomach and I rolled up my maternity pants and stood up, and I had so little blood in my legs that I actually fell forward and could feel myself bleeding heavily.
Coming up.
Dinell's partner takes her and Aurora to the same hospital, so now everybody's in the same building. While you lay unconscious, your baby, having been traumatically removed, now deceased, they allow Dan and your baby, Aurora, to come to you. Do they lay the baby in bed with you?
We now return to the Dr. Phil season premiere. A baby ripped from the womb. One mother's nightmare.
So you're holding internal organs in one hand, blood, and walking to get to a phone. You still don't know that Aurora has been taken from you. The police, paramedics come, they get you to the hospital. When was the first moment that you realized that your daughter was gone?
The next morning, when I woke up in the hospital, I woke up and I had all these tubes down my throat. And at first, I just tried to maintain a calm disposition, breathing as deeply as I could, just staying calm. And eventually, the knowledge of what had happened the previous day came trickling back. And just the understanding hit me. And I started panicking and asking the nurses to take the tubes out. And they did. Dan immediately came to my side, and I just asked him the question with my eyes. I didn't even have to say it. He knew and I knew, and he just held me, and I just kept screaming that question over and over like I did when she attacked me. Why? Why did this happen?
Dinell's partner takes her to the hospital because she tells him 5 months after her declared due date that she's miscarried and presents this baby. He takes her and this baby to the hospital. Then they bring you, then Dan arrives. So now everybody's in the same building.
Dan told me about his arrival at the hospital and how confused he was, how nobody was telling him anything. And it all seemed so surreal until they brought him Aurora, and he got to hold her and brought her over to me, even as I lay unconscious in the hospital. Dan and I thought she was the most beautiful thing we had ever seen. And I was just so grateful to have her, even for her short and small life. I think she was perfect. Those were our first moments as a family.
Coming up.
Have the doctors weighed in on whether or not you will be able to have children in the future? Do you believe that is a choice you would make? Closed captioning provided by
Safe, non-habit-forming Midnight. Unlike some sleep products, it's drug-free. It can help you fall asleep and stay asleep so you can wake refreshed. Midnight, the drug-free way to get the sleep you need.
Do you need Dr. Phil's help? Text Phil to 88500 and share your story for a chance to appear on the show. Standard message and data rates may apply. We now return to a Dr. Phil exclusive. A baby ripped from the womb. One mother's nightmare.
According to Donnell's friends who spoke to the Denver Channel, after her arrest, Donnell had told friends and her partner that she was pregnant and was due on November 14th. She created an online baby registry for a little boy. She even held a baby shower. But her November 14th due date came and went, and there was no baby. According to her friends, Donnell avoided questions about her pregnancy and would get angry when she was asked for updates. When her friends heard the news of the attack, one friend said, "This was a shock when we heard what happened. And right away I said, quote, I bet you it was Donnell." There was even a coworker that made a post on a breastfeeding website that was then responded to by a woman that works with mothers then during delivery and after the fact, that said, ding, 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 red flag here. Need to watch this woman. This is the profile of someone that is apt to steal a baby. Need to watch this woman. She could be a danger. Mothers don't want to be around this person. She was actually being discussed and labeled in that way on the internet before she allegedly did all of these things that took place. And I've said allegedly because until the courts convict her, these are just allegations until proven up in court. It's been reported that Donnell's partner heard Aurora take a gasping breath when he picked her up. The coroner has ruled that that was not the case. What do you believe?
I haven't spoken to him, and I've only read the coroner's report, so I really couldn't speak to the factual nature of that instance.
Have the doctors weighed in on whether or not you will be able to have children in the future?
They have, and I had amazing doctors who have given me that choice, that I can choose to have children in the future, that I have the option and the health to do that.
Do you believe that is a choice you would make in the future?
I couldn't really speak to that right now. I'm still grieving over the loss of one child. I can't imagine what the journey of having a second child would be like.
Are you aware that Donnell had lost a child in the past?
I am.
Through drowning in 2002?
I did read about that, yes.
Little boy. Was there anything in her demeanor when you got there in those first conversations that creeped you out?
We were having conversations that anybody would have about things going on in their life. And I thought maybe she's lonely because she's at home all day, her children are at school, and her partner is at work. So maybe she's just lonely and sad and she just wants someone to talk to.
Let me preface this by saying I'm not asking for your political views. I'm not asking for you to interpret the law. I'm just asking your opinion in your situation. Did this woman kill your baby?
Coming up.
I wouldn't
wish what I experienced on any other person. And I think that she does deserve to go to jail.
We now return to the Dr. Phil season premiere. A baby ripped from the womb. One mother's nightmare.
The Boulder County coroner has just released the autopsy on an unborn baby that died in a Longmont attack.
We're just now learning from the coroner's office that the 34-week female fetus did not show any signs of life outside of the mother's womb. DA Stan Garnett does not plan to file a murder charge and previously said there would need to be proof that the baby lived outside of the mother's body in order to pursue murder.
Let me preface this by saying I'm not asking for your political views. I'm not asking for you to interpret the law. I'm just asking your opinion in your situation. Did this woman kill your baby?
I feel like if I were to answer that question, no matter my intention, people will pull the answer and myself and Aurora into the political sphere.
But for what happened on March 18th, would Aurora be alive and well today?
I believe she would. And I also believe that she would if I had listened to that intuitive voice, that voice of wisdom, and not let that people-pleasing desire to interfere with your ability to know what the right thing is for you and where you need to be.
Here you are, the morning of March 18th, 2015. You're happy, you're pregnant with a thriving baby girl. How do you wrap your head around that sequence of events? I know you've had to be angry at some point. What's been the darkest time?
Maybe the anger part just hasn't come yet, and I'm open to it when it does. And one thing that has surprised me was that is one part that is absent from my grief. I have spent years in my philosophy to love every person because I really do have compassion and forgiveness for her. I also really believe in what the Boulder DA is doing by wanting to put her in jail because I wouldn't want her to hurt another person. I wouldn't wish what I experienced on any other person. And I think that she does deserve to go to jail.
I have read in the media that she has pled not guilty, that this was self-defense, that you attacked her in her home, and that she simply won the fight and subdued you.
Now, we also learned in court today from Detective Graham that during her interview with the suspect, Dynell Lane, she says Lane claimed that Wilkins provoked the attack and said that she thought Wilkins was dead when she removed the unborn baby.
She disputes this and says that you are the culprit here, that you came to her house and attacked her. How do you feel about that? That she says you're the criminal here, you're the attacker.
I just know that my only job is to tell the truth, whether it's on trial, whether it's here, whether it's in a conversation with my friend. That's the only thing I have to worry about. And if she chooses to lie or go down on a path of being deceitful even further, then I really have no interest in that. I know that my only duty is to go on trial and tell the truth of what happened to me. The evidence supports it, and the truth of the matter is I would rather not spend any more time thinking about her other than to wish her compassion, forgiveness, and redemption, not just for her sake, but also for mine, because anger is a weight that I don't want to bear. I would much rather live with compassion.
When we come back, more of Michelle's incredible story. But first, here's a sneak peek of some of the must-see stories on the show this fall.
On the new season of Dr. Phil.
I'm going to video this because she's crazy.
I'm the crazy one. You're the one with the red hair.
This is at a Little League baseball practice.
You're trying to be me. Then why did you dye your hair red?
We bicker about the color of someone's hair. Are you kidding me?
My dad sent money to a woman in Mexico that he had an affair with.
She had to have a lung transplant.
You paid for a lung. So she just showed up to a clinic with a lung in an igloo cooler, said, I'm here to get a transplant.
That's basically what happened.
Do you think maybe she's lied to you?
I just want to know the truth. Is my brother-in-law a monster?
An uncle too affectionate with his 16-year-old niece.
You're sending her a letter that says,
I love you with all my heart.
You put whipped cream on your neck, and Grace says you ask her to lick it off.
I don't remember doing that.
The creep meter is pegging over here.
They survived a house of horrors.
Locks on the refrigerator, blood splattered on a wall.
The children who lived there.
You were not supposed to sleep.
We'd get punished.
Speak out for the first time.
You found some guns?
Yeah, we were going to go inside and kill all of them.
A military cop's confession.
It's been very difficult for my family to accept that I'm transitioning to become a woman.
You've raised him since he was 2 days old.
I still love him, but I don't know if I can deal with him as a girl.
Are you willing to keep as open a mind as you possibly can?
Yes, I am.
Steph, please join us.
Plus,
you were the facialist to the stars.
Jennifer Aniston, Courtney Cox.
Accused of hiring a hitman to kill her rival.
Did you solicit someone to kill this man?
It was one of those, oh, I could kill this person. I should find someone to take him out.
You typed out a text message. I have found someone that can do this deed for me.
The Buffy star.
You've been arrested 5 times in 8 months.
What led up to him walking off stage?
Did you drink last night?
I did have some beers last night, yeah.
Are you drunk now?
No.
Because I smell alcohol on you.
We're done. I'm not doing this.
This fall on Dr. Phil.
Want to know what's coming up on Dr. Phil? Visit our website and subscribe to our email newsletter. You'll get weekly updates, life strategies, and exclusive video that you won't find anywhere else.
Plus, on drphil.com, you can see sneak previews of upcoming shows. Log on today.
You mentioned that there are lots of aspects to grieving, that you haven't been through the real anger aspects of it, which everybody grieves differently. One of my coping mechanisms, I'll try and find something to focus on to stay positive, that I can really throw myself into, and you've found that in your pottery, right? Tell me about that.
Pottery is definitely a form of release and healing for me. And what I wanted to do in the future, I'd love to open an organic farm that also focuses on holistic healing, like doing art with pottery, and also meditation, things that I know have helped me and people around me. So I'd love to be able to set that up as a way of giving back to the community who has given so much to me.
I think it's a wonderful thing because it is an outlet for people. And, you know, some people do it with words, other people do it with their hands. And they also tell me you're really good at it, so I'm not. But I admire people that are, and I think it's a great thing, and it's been a big help to you, right? Mm-hmm. It's been a good outlet for you.
And people are always surprised at how artistic they actually are, because the most important thing is that you enjoy it, and if you can enjoy it, you always appreciate, you know, the mug or the painting or whatever the outlet has been. And for me, pottery has definitely been that outlet.
Is there anything we haven't talked about that you think we should?
There are a few things that I want to share. And one is that I haven't lost faith in humanity, because for one person who has caused this pain, there are thousands of people who have written me letters, made donations to help with expenses, sent me thousands of emails and Facebook messages, just offering me comfort and solace. And I think if that doesn't invigorate your hope in humanity, I really don't know what would.
Well, I'm so glad to hear you say that, because to become embittered and write off the human race, while that would be a defensible and logical position given people would have to say she has earned the right. That would be giving your power over to her and the situation. You want to rise above that, and you're doing that. And I can tell you, from my point of view, you're coping with an open mind. Listen, I said in the beginning, I was proud to meet you. I didn't really know how proud I was until I really got to spend some time with you.
Thank you.
And as I say, I wish it was for a different circumstance. The millions of viewers that are watching this, I can tell you are moved by your story. They're moved by your courage. And you've used your life here today. You've used Aurora's life here today. And that's a good thing. I really appreciate you having the courage to talk about it and share it all.
Thank you.
Michelle's strength and hope in the face of pure terror is nothing short of inspiring. If you've been touched by this story, you can make a contribution to support Michelle as she begins to heal from this devastating loss. We have created a fund at the Dr. Phil Foundation, and 100% of the money raised will go toward helping Michelle. You can find more information and the link to donate on the Dr. Phil website. 35-year-old Donnell Lane is charged with attempted murder, assault, and unlawful termination of a pregnancy. Lane has pleaded not guilty and is due back in court on November 3rd. She remains in custody on a $2 million bond. Tomorrow, another headline-making exclusive. Susie Favor Hamilton was once the fastest woman in the world. But then the elite athlete began living a secret double life, moonlighting as a Las Vegas escort. How did this champion athlete, this picture-perfect wife and mother, end up working the Strip as a high-priced call girl? We'll find out tomorrow. I sat down with her and she revealed all. Take a look.
Tomorrow on an all-new Dr. Phil, she went from Olympic runner to Vegas escort.
How could a mother, a wife, a world-class athlete end up as a high-class call girl?
No secrets left hidden.
You told a lot of your clients who you were.
They thought, this is so cool, I'm having sex with an Olympian.
No questions off limits.
If you hadn't gotten caught, would you still be doing this?
I didn't want to stop. I loved it too much. I wanted more sex.
What does your husband know about all of this?
An open relationship was the way to help our marriage survive.
Why in hell would you agree for your wife to become an escort?
That's tomorrow.
You do not want to miss that. Thanks for watching. We'll see you tomorrow.